Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Sorry about the short delay in uploads, but I have had my best mate from the UK, Josh, visiting. So we've taken a little time to get a video up, but today we're going to feature him on the channel and we are going to do a Q&A together. So I know Josh from back in the UK. We trained together, we swum together for the majority of our swimming careers, and he also now coaches at our previous club a little bit part-time. We opened up a Q&A on Instagram, we got loads of questions in, and today we're just going to be covering a few of those. Give you some thoughts on all things swimming related. Where are we starting with, Josh?
Okay, so first up, question is, how did you start your channel? Did companies send you suits from the start, or did you have to pay?
Me and Josh both have a background in reviewing. We used to run a high-end audio review website, www.inearspace.com, where we covered headphones, speakers, hi-fi, and all that sort of stuff. When I was out here, I didn't really have the time to do that, but I wanted to be making some sort of content, and I thought there was a huge gap in the market for swimming equipment reviews, especially tech suits. I took it upon myself to do just that. First of all, reviewed everything that I had in my collection, and then I started approaching a few companies, and some smaller ones bit and sent me samples. Now I'm in a position where all the reviews I bring you are free review samples from the companies, which is just great.
That takes us on nicely to where do you live and how do you order all of your suits?
So, as I just mentioned, all the suits I am getting now are from the companies direct for review, which is great. I am based in Muscat, Oman, so that is in the Middle East. It borders Yemen at the bottom, Saudi Arabia on the side, and the United Arab Emirates at the top, which is why we do a lot of competitions in Dubai.
Okay, so an interesting one. Choose one swim brand to be sponsored by.
So for me personally, I have to choose a brand that makes what I think is the best tech suit. So for that sole reason, I would personally choose Mizuno. I love their suits and I wouldn't want to be sponsored by anyone else because that would mean using another tech suit. Also because Mizuno don't make paddles, fins and all that other equipment, it means I could be using the best equipment from other brands as well. Josh, what about you, mate? Who would you be sponsored by?
So for me, I'd come at it from a slightly different angle. So while all the swim bands are, they're great, make some great suits, what have you, for different people. For me, I'd be wanting to get a sponsorship from a brand that doesn't just look after swim stuff, but maybe has a much broader range. Someone like Adidas, you have the extensive range of clothes, shoes, whatever it may be. They obviously do some tech suits as well. But someone like Adidas.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that would be real cool to be sponsored by Adidas.
Okay, so moving on from that, so what's your overall favourite swim brand? Not just based on tech suits, but all things swimming.
Okay, so for me, at the moment, my favourite brand has to be Finis. That would be based on the innovation they're doing, not only in tech suits, but in all equipment and training aids. I think using their training aids is fun, exciting, and also can make you a much better swimmer. So for that reason, Finis would be my pick.
I'd have to agree, actually. Having just been here for a week or so, other than the basic paddles, pull buoy, fins, whatever, I've not really used many training aids, but being here, getting to use a few of the Finis products, they're really good. I have to say, it makes training really interesting, really enjoyable. Moving from that, what's your opinion on using a tempo trainer during practice for sprint stroke breaks?
So I'm not going to delve too much into this question because I have done a full review on the Finis Tempo Trainer Pro on the channel. Please do check that out. But long story short, I love it. I've had some real good improvements made in kids when they use it, and it really does help them get their head around what might be necessary for different distances of a stroke. So being able to separate from a 50 breaststroke and say a 200 breaststroke.
For what it's worth, I had a go with it yesterday and it's really good. Really easy to use. What setting do you use on the start blocks?
I think with a lot of things swimming related, making it individualized for you and what you are comfortable with is the most important thing. So I'm not going to recommend you do what I do, but I use setting number 3. I do know a lot of top sprinters will use 1 or 2, but they are much more flexible than me. So for that reason, I can't go any smaller than number 3. But 3 allows me to get good power, get my hips nice and high. It's probably the best for me as an individual.
Yeah, I can second. As someone who's really not flexible at all, 3 or 4 is where I sit. If I move to 1 or 2, I do suffer. It doesn't actually give me any benefit, purely because I'm in an uncomfortable position, because I'm just not flexible enough. What's your favourite pool?
I've got a few pools I really do like. My first pool I'd have to say would be the Cardiff International pool. I just love the location of it in Cardiff Bay. I first broke the minute for 100 butterfly long course there, and it's really just a nice venue. My second pool would be the pool here in Muscat, the Sultan Qaboos Stadium. It's a long course, a completely open air pool, and the meets there just have a good vibe. You're out in the sun, there's a breeze, and I just really enjoy them competitions. And my absolute favourite pool for racing, because I swim all my PBs there, would be the Hamdan Aquatic Centre in Dubai?
Me personally, I think, as most swimmers based in the UK would say, Ponds Forge in Sheffield, it's a great pool to swim in.
Real fast.
Especially, as we found last year, when it's double boomed, right? So when it's 25 metres in the middle, and they move each end in, each boom 12.5 metres in. Super fast, for some reason just feels absolutely amazing.
Incredible, yeah.
Really, really special. So that would be my favourite to race in. My favourite pool, not to race in, I must stress, because it's terrible. Crystal Palace Sports Village International Pool. Really nice building, absolutely stunning place. Yeah, that would have to be my favourite pool just to swim in. Check it out if you haven't been there, really cool. Have you ever raced short course yards?
So I'm a huge fan of watching short course yard swimming. I love watching the NCAAs and the conference meets in America, all the collegiate stuff, but I have never been fortunate enough to swim in a yards pool. And as someone who prefers short course meters to long course meters, I definitely think I'd thrive in that environment. And it's definitely on my bucket list to go to America and hopefully do a short course yards meet at one point in my lifespan.
And while I'm not actually training, I haven't been for a few years now, if I do decide to go for a swim where I live in the UK, the best pool for me is a 125-year-old Victorian 25-yard pool. It's only 3 lanes wide, walled, front, back, left, right, everything. But that's a really cool pool, really old, but really nice as well, 25 yards.
25 yards, so he actually gets quite a bit of training done. Well, I say quite a bit, he gets a bare amount of training done in a yards pool.
Okay, so a good one here. So what's your favourite thing about being a coach?
So I love so many aspects of being a coach, and just being able to be part of a kid's life and making them hopefully a better person, a better swimmer, it's really is humbling and lovely to do. But for me, the behind the scenes stuff and actually planning and trying to fit the pieces of a puzzle for so many individuals and get the best out of them with different specifics and different stimulus and methods of training, thought behind it is so much fun, and it's so rewarding when the kids do well.
Yeah, and for me, like Sonny said, I'm not sort of a part-time coach. It's something I do with our old club. For me, it's about watching their journey. You know, you can see these kids come into a squad, not the quickest guys, whatever, and you can see them progress. You can see it over time and how they've changed, how their swimming changes, and it's really nice, really nice. You see a lot of these kids, you know, so it's good to see. Opinion on the Sun Yang controversy.
If you want to know more about what happened, check out a news article online. You'll get all the finer details, but basically, long story short, it was ridiculous. They wanted to take blood and urine samples. He first of all refused. Then when they did get samples, he got his mum to smash the vials, and basically they walked away empty-handed. And FINA gave him no punishment. They didn't ban him, they didn't suspend him. Because he has served a drugs ban in the past, as far as I'm concerned, that should be him either done for life or at least not competing at the World Championships this year, which he is going to be. And I just think it's sad. I think it's sad that, to me, if he didn't want to give samples, he's hiding something, potentially doping. I'm not about that in sport whatsoever.
And to go even further than that, to actually get your mum to smash them, I mean, that's... You couldn't make it up. No action to be taken, and obviously FINA can punish athletes who would be to come out and talk against Sun Yang. So, but hopefully, and that brings us on nicely to our next question, the ISL is something that maybe be able to help with this. So what do we think about the ISL?
So I'm really excited about the ISL. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to pan out, but there's going to be 4 European teams and 4 American teams. There's going to be like a league going on, and then like an oval final that will be held in Las Vegas. It's going to be televised. They're going to try and spice it up, make it fun to watch, and give the athletes a lot of money, which is something hugely lacking in the sport. And I think we're in a position where swimming is watched once every 4 years in the Olympics, but for the rest of the time, no one cares. And for the athletes, they're just not getting the support they need. And I think a new governing body that wants to put money and wants to put the athletes first is huge.
Yeah. And the fact that they'll say anyone who has any track record of doping or missing tests or tampering with samples is not going to be welcome in the ISL. And I think that's going to be a great thing to separate themselves and give them a unique thing, not just for viewers, but for athletes as well, who are going to want to be a part of that.
Yeah, a federation that doesn't take cheating.
Yeah. How long have you been swimming?
So I started swimming when I was 9. Like many people, had school lessons. We had a tiny little pool in our village school, and the teacher there said, I think you're quite good, I think you should try out a club. So I went to my local club, and here we are sort of 14 years later, still going.
Whereas myself, I started quite late, so I joined Team Ipswich when I was 11. Swam there, consistently till I was maybe 16. Yep. Then through various reasons, some injuries, some other. Stopped at that point just back in 2012 for a couple of years. Came back for a year with signing. We had like a gap year almost where we concentrated on the website we mentioned earlier. Great time. Came back to swimming, went, made some good times, and then stopped again. And now the only real training I have is once a year. I come here for 2 weeks and get absolutely feasted. But yeah, it's good fun. What would we say to someone who is not achieving and they feel that it is too late?
My thoughts are that it's never too late in swimming. Some of the best swimmers and best sports people were late bloomers. They didn't start competing to a later age. I think if you follow Bruno Fratus and Roland Schumann's Instagram pages, they talk regularly about they didn't have PBs at 12 because they just didn't compete. They started at sort of 14, 15, 16. And then there's someone like Anthony Irvin who won the Olympics as a 19-year-old in 2000, had quit swimming after 2001, for 10 years, was a rock star, had some suspect stories and some real bad experiences, come back, made the 2012 Olympics, and in 2016, at 35 years of age, won the Olympics again with a new personal best. It's never too late, and as long as you enjoy it and can make a way to enjoy it, I think keep going. And
definitely, it's important to remember there are countless stories of international swimmers, world champs swimmers who didn't even make sort of regional finals until they were an open swimmer. But it really doesn't make a difference. Some people will develop much earlier and get better much sooner. Some people will be late much later on.
Well, a mate of ours, Tim Shuttleworth, was never the best swimmer all the way through our age group careers. In 2016, out of nowhere, won the British Championships and went to Rio Olympics for the 1500, and it was great to see, but he persevered and he ended up doing really well.
Who would you say is your favourite swimmer / idol?
I'm not one to really idolise people in ways some people do, but I definitely do respect a lot of athletes. But more of a case for me is I just like watching certain swimmers because they might have a bit of a flair in their stroke, how they approach racing, how they are tactically. And for me, I always really enjoyed watching Vladimir Morozov race because he just went out like a nutcase. At the 2013 World Championships in Barcelona, he turned to feet in the 100 freestyle final at 21.9, well on the world record pace, died like a dog, come like 5th or 6th, but I just remember watching him and being like, what a crazy man. And for me, that's cool. At the moment, I love watching Caleb Dressel swim. He's explosive, he's powerful, he's technically great, and for me, that's real great fun. And actually at the latest British Championships, Duncan Scott, just the way he approached things, his technical mastery, really nice swimmer to watch at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, as someone who loves a relay swim, who thrives on relays, it has to be, again, not idolised as such, but my favourite swim, my favourite race would have to be the men's 4x100 freestyle in Beijing. Jason Lazak's anchor of the men's 4x1 has got to be the best swim.
Best swim of all time.
Yeah, we watch it all the time.
46.06, 100 freestyle long course. 0.9 under the world record.
So last proper question, who is it you swim for?
As I said, based in Muscat, Oman. Right now we're at the British School Muscat, the main British school in the capital city. I coach and obviously then represent when I do swim for their team, the BSM Marlins, the British School Muscat Marlins. When I'm back in the UK, I train and represent Team Ipswich. That was my childhood club for most of my career, and also how I met Josh.
Yeah, well, we started training together.
So lastly, we got a lot of questions about tech suits. As you can imagine, this is what the channel is centered around. A lot of people ask comparisons, my favorite, my top 5. What I will say is the Tiavenza review is coming soon, as is the Mizuno GX Sonic 3 MR and the GX Sonic 4 ST. After I've done them reviews, I will be making a full top 5 favourite tech suit video. So for that, wait. But for now, what we will just say is both of our favourite tech suits. And for me, you probably guessed it, it's the Mizuno GX Sonic 3 ST. My PBs are some in it. The buoyancy is amazing. The tape creates real snap off the walls. And I love the cut, the high waist cut. It's comfortable, compressive, and I won't want to race in anything else in my taper shave meets.
For me, in terms of post 2009, it would have to be the high-waisted Laser Elite 2.
Speedo, of course.
Speedo, of course, yeah. Always swam well in those. They fit me really well. As someone who's a bit shorter leg, Speedo tended to fit much better. But going back, my favourite tech suit ever would have to be the FS Pro leg skins. I thought they looked awesome. You were so real cool. Dark black with the silver
swish.
Fit. Yeah, super cool. Felt great all the time. Always swam well in them. So that would have to be my favourite suit of all time, I think.
Yeah, we're both pioneers for bringing back the full body suits, or at least leg skins. Like Josh never liked the body because of shoulder restrictions, but we would love to be racing leg skins again. They were great. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and enjoyed Josh's contribution to the channel. He will be in the next vlog as well, so stay tuned for that. If you do want to watch that, subscribe, tell your mates about it, and I'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys.